Lou Grant was one of those unique TV series that is one of the very few times a serious drama is spun off of a sitcom, Mary Tyler Moore, with Lou playing the same character with the continuity intact. And the Lou Grant Show would be also one of the few programs, especially in the era of the late 70s into the early 80s, that would take such pot shots at the government, in this case especially in the early 80s with the incoming Reagan administration, that the government would actually threaten a show to get it taken off the air. You could really see this in the age of Trump, the way he tried to pressure NBC into stopping Saturday Night Live making fun of him. The Lou Grant Show was so critical of the Ronald Reagan administration, they actually used the FCC to threaten CBS to remove their broadcast license if they allowed Lou Grant a sixth season, even though the ratings definitely indicated it. I want to talk about one particular episode early in season 1 of Lou Grant. The episode simply titled Nazi. Not only is the episode very apt for what's happening today with the whole Jews will not replace us and those freaking tiki torch wielding morons, but also the fact that this was a time in television where you really did try and give both sides. The Lou Grant Show was basically Lou Grant taking over as one of the editors of a fictional Los Angeles newspaper, and so therefore he's covering current events, and they would deal with every kind of current event you could think of. In this case, they're dealing with a small neo-Nazi group that has an extremely charismatic leader played by a very young and early in his career Peter Weller. Also, Brian Dennehy is his second in command, because why not cast another great actor in this role? Here's what's interesting about this Lou Grant episode and why I want to highlight it here. While it obviously, and rightfully I believe, looks down on Nazis and what they believe, it also really tries to show you why they might believe what they believe and the complicated people that get drawn into this entire situation. And Peter Weller is beyond amazing in this. You can see why he would later become one of the greatest character actors out there. He gives so much charisma and personality to the pretty vile character of Stryker that as the mystery unfolds, and yes, there's a mystery in this episode, basically the episode is his neo-Nazi leader is actually a Jew who hates Jews so much for something that happened in the past that he wants Jews exterminated, and he's trying to hide what he was.
Even West Point?
What do you mean, West Point?
Well, didn't you try to get in there once?
I could have gone to West Point. I could have gone there. Except I quit high school. I beat up this kid, this weaselly little punk kid, and I broke his arm, as a matter of fact. So they threw me out. Anything else you'd like to ask me?
Yes. Is your real name Donald Sterner? Is your father's name Abraham? Is your mother's name Dora? Were they married in an Orthodox Jewish ceremony? Were you bar mitzvahed on April 28th, 1961 at the B'nai Israel Synagogue by Rabbi Samuel Stein?
You're not gonna print that.
Is it true?
It's a lie.
Your name's not Donald Sterner, you're not Jewish?
I have a gun, did you know that? It's in my jacket. I have my hand on it right now. I could kill you this instant. He's with you, isn't he?
No.
You're lying. You've done nothing to me but lie.
He brings such charisma that it almost becomes dangerous, that you start to understand exactly why he thinks the way he does. And in today's political environment, that's becoming more and more apt. You see more and more people who are racists and Nazis, and you ask yourself, how can they become like this? Because there's always a way. That's not justifying anything. Nazis are vile. I almost called them vile human beings. I don't think a Nazi actually qualifies as a human being. There's a reason Philip K. Dick based Replicants on Nazis. You have, the episode is the 7th episode aired in season 1, although you can tell when you watch it, it takes place much earlier. Networks back then were notorious for airing the stuff out of order, so this is probably the 4th or 5th episode in continuity. You can tell by Billy being new to this whole thing. This episode has such a powerful ending to it that's brought forth not just by the acting, but it is a powerful ending that sends a strange message. Billy does everything she is supposed to in tracking down the Stryker story. Even though her life is in danger, even though she knows something bad is going to happen when she writes her story. But she's a journalist. She has to write her story and tell the truth. And the ending, her story has caused a man's death. Everyone's congratulating her on what a great story she wrote, even though it cost a man his life. A bad man, but a man nonetheless. And her acting in this scene right here says everything.
I killed him.
No, he killed himself.
I put the gun in his hand.
That gun has been in his hand for a long time.
Yeah, but if I hadn't written this story...
Did you know when we went for the story that he was going to kill himself?
No.
Did you think there was a possibility that he might kill somebody?
Yeah.
Who?
Me.
But knowing that, you wrote it anyway. You had the courage to face that. Think about it. Think about it. Maybe it'll help you to accept this. Billy. We can't weigh each story and say maybe we shouldn't print it because somebody might get hurt. Sometimes people do get hurt. Sometimes careers are ruined. Governments are brought down. But if the story is there, we have to print it. It's our job. And if you're going to be in this business, you'll have to learn to handle it. Okay?
You mean I should just, shrug this one off and go on to the next?
A man is dead. A sad, twisted, tormented man. But a human being, nevertheless. By writing about him, you helped us understand him and maybe ourselves a little better. You've done a great job. And I'm proud of you.
Thanks.
Good story, Billy.
And Peter Weller's charisma is also used to show just how small a lot of these people actually are. Look at this scene right here. He's trying to be tough. He's trying to be the Nazi leader. And look at the little boy that's actually behind those eyes, the scared little boy, which is a real testament to Peter Weller's stellar acting.
Ed will run that too. But we are going to print what we have got.
I'll make you a deal. A fair exchange. I've got another story. Better than this one. Documented proof, I'll give you that. There's these homosexuals in the Ku Klux Klan. I'll give you names, addresses, anything you want.
There are homosexuals everywhere, Stryker. Why shouldn't they be in the Klan? We even have a homosexual sports writer here on the paper.
Who?
This is no joke to me.
This is no joke to anyone.
I'll go ahead and print it. You think I care? I don't care. Nobody's gonna believe it. Go ahead, nobody believe it.
All right. Maybe nobody will believe it.
Please, you just don't understand. Look, what did I do to you? I've worked so hard, this thing. If it comes out, see, if these people find out, it'll all be gone. Everything will be gone. I've worked so hard. Everything I worked for will be gone. I'll lose all my friends. You know what? You're gonna be very sorry for this, both of you. Very sorry. I got nothing to lose now.
Goodbye, Mr. Stryker.
Nazi is a typical episode of Lou Grant. It is extremely well written, it is extremely well acted and put together, and nobody really watches this show. I'm not aware if it's on any streaming service. It might be. I've got the DVDs, and even then I've got the old VHSs. Lou Grant is a series that should be seen more, and this episode, despite the fact that it will most likely be claimed by CBS for the footage, is something you should really look for. Even though I've just given you the main plot beats here, you really should see this episode on its own. Lou Grant's Nazi.